Travel is more than just ticking off countries. It's about the people, the culture, the food, the moments. I'm Pippa Hudson, and on Wonder the World, I invite you to join me every week as we explore destinations both near and far, with the help of fellow adventurers who share their unique travel stories. Listen to my podcast wherever you get them.
You're with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
Let's walk the talk. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856.
92.7 and 106 FM.
7 minutes after 9 o'clock. Dumelang, happy Friday. Welcome to the Clement Manyathela Show. It's great to have you with us here on 702. I hope you're well this morning. If you're on YouTube, hello. You can watch us on the 702 YouTube page. You can comment there, in fact, on the 702 open line as well, and I'll read some of your comments from YouTube. We start with the open line on 011-883-0702. That's the number you can dial this hour if you want to weigh in on any issue we're raising on the open line this morning. The WhatsApp line is 072-702-1702. It's Friday, and you know what we do every Friday. We do Gratitude Friday. This is where you can call us and tell us what you are grateful for this week. What happened this week that put a smile on your face? What happened this week that reminded you of how blessed you are? Give us a call or send us a WhatsApp voice note right now. There's something that happened yesterday that I think should worry all of you. So the Minister of Higher Education, Dr. Nobuhle Nkabane, the Minister of Higher Education, appointed board chairpersons of SETAs, right? So there are these new board chairpersons of SETAs that were appointed by the Higher Education Minister. But there are names on that list that was actually leaked earlier this week, that have raised some eyebrows. The ANC chairperson, Gwede Mantashe's son, appears on the list as a board chairperson of one of the SETAs. Mantashe's advisor has also been appointed as the board chair of one of the SETAs. The Minister of Higher Education, who has appointed these people who are linked to Gwede Mantashe, and there are many other people, of course, that she appointed. But when she appointed these people, you have to remember that she used to be the Deputy Minister of Mineral Resources working with Gwede Mantashe at the Mineral Resources Department. Now, the EFF Member of Parliament tried to ask the Higher Education DG about these appointments. I mean, if you go through the list, guys, it's quite shocking. The former KZN Premier, remember Nobuhle Dube, the former KZN Premier, was also appointed. He's there on the list. Nobuhle Dube, Bank SETA. You've got the former, I think it's the former Economic Development MEC of KwaZulu-Natal. I think there's a former, Economic Development and Tourism MEC who's been appointed as one of the board chairs. I mean, the list goes on and on and on, and you can see that here it looks like a list of also ANC cadres who have been appointed as chairpersons of SETAs. But what really raised eyebrows is Mantashe's son is there. Mantashe's advisor has been appointed there. When the EFF Member of Parliament, Sihlelonzi, tried to ask the Higher Education DG about this, he was simply kicked out of the Portfolio Committee meeting in Parliament because he was told, no, why are you asking the DG these questions? These are questions that must be asked to the Minister because the Minister is the one who appoints the board chairpersons. Right? Now, last night, the Minister sent out a statement announcing the withdrawal of the appointed chairpersons of SETA boards with immediate effect. And in that statement, she says, following broader consultations with stakeholders in the post-school education and training sector and their council regarding the appointment of chairpersons of the boards of sector education and training authorities, I have decided to recalibrate the process, which was overseen by an independent panel. I mean, first of all, this is a lie. So following broader consultations with stakeholders in the post-school education and training sector and the council regarding these appointments, why did you make appointments before you consult with these stakeholders? No, following public pressure, following even your own colleagues, Minister, being shocked by your appointments, following opposition parties holding you accountable and asking what the hell is going on. And then you've decided to make a U-turn and withdraw these appointments. But politicians always want to come with this language. Oh, following public consultation. Oh, please. It's actually quite shocking because the ANC, after the minister makes this about turn, because now they're realizing that, the proverbial ish has hit the fan, then the ANC releases a statement. The ANC releases a statement, and they're saying that last night they said, we welcome and fully support the decision by the Minister of Higher Education to withdraw and reopen the appointment process of SETA board chairpersons in response to public concerns. This principled act is a reaffirmation of the ANC's commitment to ethical governance and democratic accountability. So they said that going forward, they are confident that the new process the minister has announced will be conducted in a manner that is fair, transparent, and fully compliant with the Skills Development Act. Basically what they're saying is, Minister, you are not fair, you are not transparent, you're not compliant with the Skills Development Act in these appointments. I think it's an indictment on the Minister of Higher Education, Dr. Nobuhle Nkabane. What are your thoughts on that? So the ANC clearly has been doing this for over 30 years, and maybe we had gotten used to it because they abused their majority anyway in Parliament. But things are a little different now. And thank goodness to the DA and the EFF for actually raising this matter, because on Tuesday, the DA's Karabo Kakao revealed first the list of these SETA board appointments. She was the first to tweet it. In fact, before she even tweeted it, she sent it to several of us as journalists. She sent us this list very early in the morning on Tuesday, or was it Monday night? I don't remember. And she said, this has come to my attention. I just want to warn you guys. I want to warn you. I'm going to be releasing a statement about this. So on Tuesday, the DA's Karabo releases this leaked letter showing Mantashe's son and Mantashe's advisor and other people, the former KZN Premier, the former MEC, and how they've been given these positions and appointed as board chairpersons. That's on Tuesday, right? And then on Wednesday, the EFF's Sihle Lonzi gets kicked out of Parliament for asking the DG of Higher Education about that list. On Thursday, last night, the minister reverses the appointments. And guess what the official opposition says? This is the MK party now. They released a statement last night after this reversal, and they're claiming that the minister has now acted because of its pressure. What an embarrassment. Oh my God. So MK party, they're nowhere to be found, even with VAT. What did they do? They marched. And then when VAT was reversed, they come back. It's us. That's what they're doing now. The DA is the first that revealed the letter, released a statement. The EFF was pushing for accountability in Parliament. The MK party comes last night. When they've been nowhere to be seen as the official opposition, they want to claim that the minister has somehow reversed this decision because of them. Oh, please, man. I'll take your thoughts on that on 011-883-0702. WhatsApp's on 072-702-1702.
Clement Manyathela, streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
Morning, Clement. This whole thing here, Mantashe's son, it's, as we were saying, it's what the ANC has been doing all along. And then yet you find in yesterday's reports, the ANC is somehow not happy with the way they are being portrayed in the media. Hey, the media. They are allowing the conditions for the report to take place. They continuously do the same thing over and over, and what? They expect the media mustn't inform the public. They expect we must keep quiet. They are the ones responsible for creating this bad image of themselves. And that is what the media is reporting on. How about they do right, and then we won't have bad reports?
Hey, my name is Clement Open for last. Clement, to simply explain this saga of the ANC, do you remember the comedy Mr. Bean? Mr. Bean used to write a letter for himself. Ne? He slipped it under his door, he closes the door. Then 2 seconds later, he comes back in. He acts surprised that someone sent him a letter. This is what's happening from the e-tolls to tax, now the appointment of chairpersons on the board. So ANC is taking us for fools, Clement. We've heard it with the ANC. Thank you.
I mean, their statement is like, it's just so weird. Eh? And what are we supposed to praise? It's like when VET was withdrawn, they somehow want to take credit when it was an ANC minister and even ANC leaders who were Paul Mashatile and others who kept saying, well, it's going to be a temporary measure. And now their own deployee, a minister, takes a decision that raises eyebrows, that is so weird. And then because of public pressure, and thank goodness to the opposition parties who were putting pressure as well, the minister reverses that decision. And the minister wants to tell us, oh yeah, I've now consulted and I've decided to withdraw. Well, if you consulted first, minister, you probably wouldn't find yourself here. I'm sure somebody in the process would have said, hold on, are you sure about this person? What about this person? Aren't you concerned about how all of this looks on you, how this looks on the organization? Sizwe, you're calling from Centurion. Good morning.
Good morning, Clement. How are you?
Sure. Go ahead.
Clement, so to be precise, I'm actually working under one of the SETAs here now. So the picture that is actually coming out clear now, the intention is to at least focus on something that they are saying probably they can salvage in the next election, because clearly this is just one of the state capture kind of an arrangement. Because clearly, how do you then define? I mean, people are just like it's almost like KZN. Your KZN cabinet is actually going to the SETAs, because if you read into all the financials of the SETAs, one of the SETAs that is actually probably I would say managed in a way that you would say, I wish I can work there, is your bank SETA. That institution is probably one of the best in terms of governance. But and you consider all these people who are coming there with their names in all these other previous issues that were in KZN, but being brought in these institutions. Definitely the intention is clear that in the next election, they must have resources that will benefit the ANC. They must have their hands in a way they will make sure that all those resources, they will make sure that anything that has to talk to the next election is actually their beneficial. So these people, definitely something has to be done. It has to be done. These people must just go off our face. All right,
Caesar in Centurion, thank you for your thoughts. Moshere, you're in Pretoria West. What are your thoughts? Hi.
Correct. But Clement, look, man, I hear you about the MK. Of course, indirectly, I'm saying that MK is also playing part. Look, previously where ANC had the numbers, of course, we have the opposition in parliament or with portfolio committees where they will argue about the matter, where they will eventually forced to go to court because ANC had the numbers. Of course, now is your EFF and DA where they've been raising these issues, but because of ANC doesn't have the numbers, now they're unable to take the opposition, and they don't have to go to court because ANC doesn't have numbers anymore. If there's opposition from opposition parties, ANC, because not having the numbers, they are forced to withdraw these matters, of which In one way we can say that the MK is playing part, but of course on the other hand we know that the MK stands for. But by reducing the numbers of the ANC, they also playing part, even if they don't raise these matters in Parliament. But of course the EFF and the DA, they're much vocal and they're helping in order to reverse this sense.
Okay,
that
so
previously.
Okay, Michelle, wait. MK Party did well at the elections, right?
Correct.
We gave them credit for that. I get it. They did well because how they performed actually pushed the ANC below 50%, right?
Definitely.
That's not enough. As an official opposition party, you don't claim for the next 5 years before the next elections that, but I pushed the ANC below 50% and therefore my job is done. That's not how it works. You go to Parliament.
That's not what I'm saying.
So you go to Parliament and you argue things and you hold the executive accountable. So a simple question is, let's forget the elections because we've given them credit for that. That's amazing what they did in their performance. I'm asking directly right now, what did they do to put pressure on this minister as we speak this week before the minister made the reversal? What did the MK Party do?
Clement, I agree fully with you, but we cannot reduce what the MK has done in order to put us in this position. I fully agree with you. Now they didn't do it, but because of the numbers, ANC is unable to take matters where we'll see the opposition.
Yes, but we're done with that, remember? We've given credit for that. So I'm saying, pack that. Let's talk about this week. What did they do this week?
Clement, look, history is what informs us going forward. If we fail to acknowledge that only looking at the current state, we will be feeling us. We have to look back in order to progress. That's what I'm saying.
Yes, we've looked back. So I said we've given them credit there. They've pushed down the ANC. I'm asking now about this week. Please indulge me for this week. What did they do as the official opposition party to hold the executive accountable on this matter? Did they do anything?
They didn't raise the issue, but my point, Clement, is just to say that they also play in part in order for us to move forward.
Okay. So they didn't raise any issue this week. I hear what you say about the elections. I agree with you. This week, nothing. They want to claim victory. They're saying that, the minister is reversing because of us. Please, that's not true. They didn't do anything. The DA is the one that first even wrote and said, hey, something is weird here. And then the EFF on Wednesday was trying to push for accountability in Parliament before Sihlelonzi was kicked out. And then on Thursday evening, you want to claim that the minister reverses because of your pressure? Oh, please. It's 25 after 9.
Your voice.
Your station.
Your open line.
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela.
On 702.
28 minutes after 9 o'clock. Lifuku, you are calling us from the Northwest. What are your thoughts? Good morning.
Morning, Clement. You know, this SETA thing is actually, it's a bit depressing, man. And it just shows you how our tax money is not respected in this country. And one of the things that give me sleepless nights when I Clement, it's this NHI single point of failure that could collapse our entire healthcare with these comrades. It's another setup they're doing for themselves so that they can eat money. And it's so, one of the hardest things that I hate to do is paying tax when I Clement, when I see where my tax money is going. I mean, how can this minister, there are no morals anymore when I Clement, how can this minister do what they did now with knowing what's going to come? But they don't care when I Clement, they wanted to increase our VAT. So for me, Clement, in this country, taxpayers are really, really not respected. For them, these comrades and whatever, it's just for them to eat money. And for me, Clement, I really worry. And I pray that in the courts, that this NHI thing fails, because this is where these people are going to, even Gwede Mantashe himself, why didn't Gwede Mantashe say to his son and whatever, hey, don't do that. Don't even apply. Why couldn't he do that?
Well, yeah, and I bet you it's not just Gwede Mantashe. I mean, if you were to check, you know how many entities are under various departments in government? You know how many entities are there? It's not just these skills development entities we're speaking about. If we go and check, who are the board chairpersons? Who are the CEOs? You're going to see a family tree there. I bet you. But this has always been the nature of politics over the last 30 years. And maybe that's where we should be grateful to the GNU. And maybe that's where we should be grateful as well to how things panned out in this year's elections, because there's no party that can now abuse its majority and do as it pleases. It can be held accountable, even in these constitutional or institutions like parliament, where in the days of old, they would just do as they please because we've got the majority. Well, things have changed.
Your voice.
Your station.
Your open line.
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
It's just after 9:33. Let's go back to your calls on 011-883-0702. WhatsApp's first on 072-702-1702.
Good morning, Clement. The MK are just like the ANC, stealing the credit where the credit is not due to them. So even they besides stealing and being corrupt, like the ANC, they even steal the credit that they don't deserve. Yeah, Jeffrey Senton.
Hi, Clement. With the SETAs, it's very painful. How I wish the DA and the EFF can really just lobby for the closure of the SETAs. The corruption that is happening there when it comes to procurement. I'm not surprised with these appointments. The SETAs, we don't need them.
Morning, Clement. I'm not really a member or supporter of the EFF or the DA, but it seems like those two parties, they're doing a good job. They're holding people accountable there by Parliament. They must keep it up.
Morning, Clement. This is the typical behavior of the AFC. When they cause a problem, they fix it, and then they praise themselves. I mean, look at this, them patting themselves on the back on this appointment, claiming that, we're a party that listens. I mean, isn't that weird? Typical behavior. Cause a problem, fix it. There you go. We're a party that listens. That's creepy. Prince in Bedfordview.
Prince. Tabiso, you're in Polokwane. Hi.
Hi, Clement.
Sure.
Clement, I'm asking myself as to what would have the DG said if Lozi was allowed to ask that question, because that's worrying that you have a department that the chair of the portfolio committee did not allow that question to happen. And to mention that the person came late is not that they're not there, because when a person comes late, you bring him on board to say, this is what we've discussed, I'll bring in the department next week and all of it. But just to check him out, it clearly shows that as a problem. But I've also been following the the portfolio committee on higher education. There is a lot of bullying there, and some of them is happening to institutions of higher learning, and led by the chair himself. It clearly shows that there's something that is wrong that is happening on that particular side in terms of being able to monitor. Because you can interrogate without bullying other individuals, whether it's department or institutions of higher learning, but you can interrogate people, make them to be accountable without bullying and without being insulting. I mean, we had seen at some point the chair writing a particular letter, we don't know, in the evening with a lot of punctuation and spelling mistakes, putting it on Facebook. So now, what I'm trying to say is that it's a matter that the portfolio committee must be looked at it very deeply in terms of its conduct and how are they doing things. But of course, we must appreciate the withdrawal of the chairperson. But the last question would be, Clement, SETAs, they themselves are not only chairpersons. What about other members of the portfolio committee who are forming part of those boards in all those particular SETAs? Why announce the chairpersons only? Why can't you announce all? So that we know there is Clement, there is this one and this one, these are the qualifications and all of that and all of those.
Yeah. Tabiso in Polokwane. Got you. Thank you. Spiwe and Cindy.
Your voice.
Your station.
Your open line.
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
20 minutes before 10 o'clock. Cindy Le, you're calling from Bragiso. Good morning. Hi, Spiwe. Hi.
Hi, are you okay?
Shop, man. Go ahead.
I just want to comment with this SETA thing in regards to the MK. I'm personally not surprised with the way MK reacted towards this. Remember, when they are campaigning, even their president, Jacob Zuma, said they are doing what they are doing. They are rescuing ANC. So for me, actually, MK is just an extension of ANC.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of having being a opposition, the main opposition in parliament, we're seeing EFF and DA acting in those positions. And I feel pity for people that voted for the MK, hoping it will bring change. Yet it's just an addition and extension to ANC to rubber stamp all this corruption.
All right, Spiwe in Joburg, thank you for your thoughts. Sindile, what do you think? You are in Kagiso. Hi.
Let me bring something to your attention. There's a guy called Ngola. You can Google him. He's an MK member. He's one of the members of that committee. He was vocal in taking out SETA loans. You must Google him. He's one of those two guys who were sitting together during that video. He's Ngola. He's an MK member. Now they are taking credit for taking out SETA loans. And there's a video that they've made, the chairperson made. There were 4 of them in a car going to work. They were making a video introducing themselves that they're going in a car. They are friends from the ANC. There's a video. Check on what and check the chairperson's name and go to YouTube. I think it's Facebook where they've made a video together, the 4 of them. And the PA guy, Souls, was also vocal in taking out SETA loans. The PA lady, the white lady that was there, not the PA, the DA lady. I think the DA lady was confusing me because they are the ones who started with this issue. She was also vocal in saying SETA was not supposed to ask that question. All of them, they were against him, including all the rest of the parties, not only the ANC. Let's look at those guys because they played a role. When the chairperson was taking out SETA laws, they were supporting him. So what does that say about all of those parties? Let's not only look at the ANC. All of them were complicit in that issue.
Yeah, and I interviewed the chair of that portfolio committee, Sindile. In fact, maybe let me play you a clip of what he said to me. I interviewed him last night on Face the Nation, and I was asking, why did you call security to take out SETA Loans, who's a member of the EFF, in Parliament out of that meeting, for just basically asking the DG a question of, are you aware of these board appointments? And apparently the committee had decided that, we're not going to get into that. The minister is going to come and account on that because the minister is the one who makes appointments. And I thought, but this is Parliament. If there's an issue that South Africans are concerned about, if they're seeing names of politicians' children and advisors being put as board chairpersons and they're concerned about that, what is wrong with a member of Parliament asking a question? Because the DG doesn't have to get into the details of how the appointments are made. The DG could have said, we're aware of that. Are they concerned or not? Or we'll come later. The minister will come later to account of that, but we are aware of those appointments. Because some people thought that maybe the list that was leaked is actually not even true. They thought it's fake news. They thought that it's been manipulated. So if you have an accounting officer there in Parliament, but they get shielded from responding to a basic question, just give him an opportunity to say, yes, the list is true, but the minister will elaborate on it. Or the list is fake, so that South Africans at least know what's going on. Here's what Nobuhle, who's the chairperson of that portfolio committee on higher education, said when I was asking about this issue last night.
The question that he was asking, though, is whether the DG of higher education is aware that Gwede Mantashe's son has been appointed as the chair of one of the SETA boards. Why couldn't the DG answer that question? I mean, from the recording I saw of that meeting, you don't give the DG the opportunity to respond for himself if he's willing to respond to that question or not. But the question was not about whether or not he makes the appointments. The question was whether he is aware that appointments have been made and aware that Gwede Mantashe's son has been appointed as the chair of the SETA board and that his advisor has also been appointed. And I suppose the point I'm trying to make, Nobuhle, is that is an issue that has really concerned a lot of South Africans. Many people have seen that list that has been leaked, and the question they've had is, oh my goodness, is this true? Couldn't it have worked for an assurance to come from a DG of higher education to say, I can't get into the details, the minister will come and explain what happened because she makes the appointments. But here's what I can share with South Africans who are rightfully concerned about these appointments that are really raising eyebrows. Because that's what Parliament is there for, right?
Yeah, no, the first thing we must clarify is that that's not the question he asked. I think the question he asked was that, DG, are you aware of the appointments that have been made? And he did not, he only mentioned the name of Minister Mantashe's child when he was being evicted. I think if you can check the video, it will confirm that part. But members of the portfolio committee who agreed, who took a resolution, had many questions to ask to the DG. But we correctly said the DG has got, the department has got absolutely no role to play in the appointment of anybody in the SETAs. That is Section 11 of the Skills Development Act that gives the minister. We had then agreed that asking the DG will be asking for gossip in Parliament. The DG does not play a role. The minister does not report to the DG. If the minister was reporting to the DG, would have allowed the DG to say, yes, the minister has appointed and has sent me the list, but the minister has no obligation to send to the DG, has no obligation to send, and therefore we said we will now be reducing the meeting to gossip.
But who do the SETAs then respond and report to? Do they report to the minister? Do they report to the DG? Because the DG is the accounting officer, isn't it? Even though appointments are made by the minister, who interfaces with the SETAs? It's not the minister, it's the DG who's the accounting officer. So it would be weird for us to say, oh, the minister makes the appointment, but the DG of the department has no idea of what appointments have been made, to which SETAs and which board chairpersons have been appointed. Wouldn't that be weird?
It's actually not true. The accounting authorities of the SETAs account to the minister. The legislation is clear that the DG plays no role in the even interfacing. The DG can't even tell the board of any SETA that they must do X, Y, and Z, because legislation is very clear that the minister will interface with the board chair or the accounting authority chair of the SETA, and not anybody else in that space. So Skills Development Act was crafted in that way. Why we can ask ourselves those questions, but the DG does not play any role even on accountability of it.
Yeah, so that's what he says about the difference between the DG and the minister's roles. And then I went to look at the functions of SETAs, and 10 section 1 says a SETA must report to the Director General on its income and expenditure and implementation of its sector skills plan. So SETAs are required to report to the Director General of the Department of Higher Education and Training on the efficient use of the funds. Yes, the DG may not be the one that sends instructions, whether to the CEOs or the chairpersons. And of course, nothing stops the minister from meeting with the chairpersons and the CEOs as well. But you can't want to argue that there is no role completely that a DG, who's an accounting officer, plays in as far as SETAs are concerned. You can argue that they don't interface at all. So when the department gives us feedback on the incredible work or failure of the work of the SETAs, who does that if it's not the accounting officer? And if they don't interface at all with the SETAs, where do they get that information if the DG is not allowed to interface with these organizations? It's 10 before 10.
Your voice.
Your station.
Your open line.
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
8 minutes before 10 o'clock. Mpo Nawa, you calling from Randburg. Good morning. Hi, Mpo.
Hello, how are you?
I'm all right, thanks. Go ahead.
I'm fine. No, I think you have a good point, because let me start this way. You know, I'm a member of the ANC and I believe in it. But I don't think it was fair for that EFF guy to be treated the way he was treated. I mean, the question was straightforward. Are you aware or are you not aware? And the answer should be, yes, can talk. Because when you invite such senior people in Parliament, you don't invite them to keep quiet. You only invite them to offer answers to questions that are raised for the department. Now, I don't understand why the guy was suppressed. It was strange that, let's assume that guy arrived late and therefore there was a decision taken. But I think the question was very straightforward. Excuse me, you are late, please next time don't come late. Please, did you tell him what it is? The guy was supposed to say, no, I'm not aware or I'm aware.
That's it.
There. And that's it. Then the meeting is over.
Yeah.
Then the drama comes to pull the guy out. It was so ugly. And the parliament is a space for democratic discussions. So people have the right to ask questions. That's why they are members. So I think the chair misjudged the question. I don't know what he misjudged. Because when you do that way, people think you are hiding something. And that's why sometimes corruption, misperception is blown out of proportion because people don't want to be transparent and straight and keep the decorum of the parliament. People ask questions and they are answered. Period.
No, absolutely.
So I agree with you that the guy was supposed to be allowed to answer. You can't be so senior. DG means you are an accounting officer. You are second after none in the department.
Yeah.
So everything it must be in your fingertips. And I agree that he might not have played a role in appointing. But the question was whether you have appointed. The question was whether are you aware. You see?
Mponawa, thank you so much for your contribution. It's 5 minutes now before 10 o'clock.
If he does not have the direct answer to the question, then he must just say that the minister will come and clarify those things. He's a DG for what? Is it the under which department is he serving? He's directing what? Is a DG for water and sanitation, or is he a DG for road and transport? These things they are happening, and then under his watch. If he does not know what to say, then he must go. He's got no business. He's got no business. He's a DG, but nothing. He's contributing nothing. These people, they are very naughty.
Good morning, Mr. Manyathela. This is Lungelo from Steeldale. Mr. Manyathela, I think this time you are making a mistake. We are falling into a trap of criticizing without first verifying. As a journalist, you should critique, but also seek facts. You don't know what MK was doing in Parliament because maybe it was not on television. You don't know what meetings MK was having. And by the way, I'm not an MK voter. I'm an National SA voter. But I don't think that we should be emotional, be reactionary without first asking questions. You can call MK, can have an interview with MK if it bothers you. So just be careful on that one. But yes, well done to the DA, to the EFF for raising a point. And thank you.
Good morning, Clement. Clement, this is what the ANC has been doing all the years. And my biggest worry is what the GNU parties are doing about this, because they should have been vocal and refused completely. For Gwede to allow this. This is the ANC that we know, and this is the ANC that our poor of the poorest people, they keep on voting for. ANC is no longer fighting for poor of the poorest. They're fighting for their stomach. They no longer want for our votes to improve our lives. They want our votes to improve their lives. I'm worried about the DA, the IFP, and the rest on the GNU. Why they're allowing the ANC to bulldoze them like this. Thank you to the AFF. Thank you.